In this one we're going to continue our work with methods, and we're going to have a look at passing arguments to methods. So I think we'll create a new file. So in the project root, which is my chapter 1 folder here, I'm going to create a new PHP file and we shall call this class-methods. Okay, and then I'm just going to paste in some code which I've already worked out in a little practice project. This should look familiar to you. It's the product class which we created in the previous recordings, and we have our price as currency method here. So what we're going to do is we're going to format the currency which this is returned in, and so I can pass an argument to this method and we will say currency, and so this will be the symbol, for example the pound symbol or a euro symbol or a dollar symbol. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually prefix the price as currency with the currency symbol. And just thinking about that, that would be a better name, wouldn't it? So using camel case, I'm going to call this currency symbol instead. Using very descriptive names is important. It means you don't need to put as many comments in your code. It means that you can just read the code and it describes perfectly what it does, and so that's something which I'll try to maintain throughout this course. Okay, so let's create a product, and by now you'll know how to do this in your sleep. So product equals new product, and then what we'll do is we'll call the price as currency method, and we're going to print it as well, because we're going to add a string to the front of this, so our currency symbol will be in string format, and because we're concatenating something which is in string format with something which is numerical, it means that the whole lot will become a string, and so for that reason it means we can actually print it out using print. So print product, and then we'll call price as currency using the object operator. And then what we need to do is pass in a currency symbol. So I'll pass a pound symbol, and then let's go and run this. So this time it's going to be PHP class methods. Okay, and we get £1, and we get this funny little percent sign after that. So what I'll do is we'll do what we did in the previous lessons, where we had this PHP end of line thing here, and it'll just by adding a new line it means that we won't get that percentage sign, which looks a bit silly. So let's go and run this again. So as you can see, we get £1. So what do you suppose would happen if we didn't actually pass in an argument when we call this method? Let's go and run this again. And so this time we get an argument count error, because we're not actually passing any arguments where the method was expecting one. And so that forces us to pass a currency symbol as an argument, but there is another way around this in which you might not need to do that, because say for example you are using most of the currencies you're going to be dealing with is a dollar symbol, and so you don't want to be doing it for every single one. If you know that 99 times out of 100 you know that the currency you're going to be using is a dollar, it can be tedious to then be calling this and passing a dollar each time. So what you can do is do what I've done here, where I've set it to a default value, so that now inside of the method currency symbol automatically defaults to a dollar. Let's go and run this. So as you can see, we now get $1, and we didn't, if you look at our method call, we didn't actually have to specify that, it just used the default. Having set that default to dollar, if I still want this to be pound, then all I do is when I call the method, I just use pound here, and that will overwrite the default. So when the method is called, whatever is passed at call time overwrites what is actually initially defined in the signature as the default. So when we actually refer to this whole thing here, public function price as currency, and that any variables and defaults, we regard this, or we call this method signature. Anyway, let's not get too sidetracked with that. Let's go and run this now, and we should see that our price as currency is now £1. Okay, £1, so our pound has overridden the dollar default.